There we go. It should be working now. Stupid thing. Yep, so I wasted my intro. I should go back to my starting screen. I should have noticed that before. Yeah, stupid settings reset themselves on my Streamlabs. And thank you for the help, Brooke. I appreciate that. No, nothing wrong with your computer. That'd be me failing to do a proper final check on my goods. So sorry about that. My bad. So now that you can hear me, how are you? How are things with you? Did you have a good week? My week was okay. I got my echo turned down, so hopefully. Yeah, see, I've got the opposite. I work in the tire business, and this time of year we are slow AF, so it is highly boring for the most part. Refresh my memory on what you do. Cyber Quantum, you can watch with a friend, eat out at a buffet. Oh, hell yeah. I haven't been to a good buffet in a long time. Oh, software development. Dope. That means you are definitely more computer literate than I. Faux show. Yeah, I'm excited for Quantumania too. I think that's going to be dope. I think it's going to be a good movie. Speaking of which, we got some Kang-like leaks to talk about. So that'll be dope. Yeah. That is... Well, that's what I'm here to do, is provide you with a recap of what happened this week, just in case you missed something. Justin, what is going on, my guy? How you doing? What did you think how I adjusted the thumbnail a smidge? Did I do I? I'll just chill for a couple more minutes here at the beginning. It's early. See if maybe one or two people show up. One or two more people, I should say. But I appreciate it if there was only one of you, because I appreciate anything I get. Oh, thank you, man. I'm glad. I tried hard. Trying to up my thumbnail game. But yeah, we do actually have a little bit of fun stuff to talk about tonight, so. We'll get on that in just a short second. Let everyone get settled in. Make sure you got your favorite aid for relaxation. It is, after all, the weekend. Saturday night. Are you guys ready to talk some shit? Let's talk some nerdy shit. I have notes this time. I'm much better prepared. I don't know how well that much better prepared is, but it's much better compared to last week. So, as I was saying when my mic wasn't working, damn it. Well, these people got some good music for a couple minutes. So I had to watch Superman Red Sun yesterday. Very good. I watched anime Superman. Ooh, that sounds cool. I am like ridiculously far behind on animated features, especially DC animated features. It's insane. And I hear that's like, when I give it understand, that's like the best thing that DC has to offer is their animated movies. Although I don't know about the Super Pets one that came out lately. That just looked kind of lame. The ones that are serious about the characters are good, I hear, though. So, yeah, need to do that. I need to do that. There's so many things I need to watch. And there aren't enough fucking hours in the day to keep up with this shit, I'm telling you. At least not when you have a regular full-time job. Alright, my contacts are fucky. Cool. So does that YouTuber like comic specific or nerdy shit in general? I mean, I would say I'm always on the lookout for somebody cool to watch, but I've got such an extensive list and I'm behind on just about all of them. So, I'm gonna try something here. There we go. Mostly political stuff, but he also talks pop culture stuff as well. Oh, well, that's cool. I've thought about dipping my toe into that kind of stuff, but I figure, oh, that YouTuber must have an extraordinarily interesting take on politics, being from there. Good gravy. Wait, okay, I was about to say, I'm gonna have to beat the hell out of Spotify now too. Some bitch. All right, but it's working. So, well, that's cool though. Yeah, I've thought about dipping my toe into political commentary and whatnot, but I feel like that'd have to be on a completely different channel because, let's face it, political talk is not chill. I'd have to set up a second channel for that, maybe call it Yelling in the Basement, because, let's face it, political talk is always at least semi-charged up and gets fully charged within a very short amount of time. Exactly. So I'd have to be like Yelling in the Basement if I did a political channel. Of course, that one might end up doing way better than this one in a much quicker amount of time because people love arguing about politics. You liked one of my videos talking about Musk and the... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Musk, the Twitter and Musk thing, at least when it was like getting going, when he was fighting the acquisition and then all the silly, stupid shit he was doing when they first got started was really fun. But, I mean, I've been keeping up with it a little bit, but on the whole, it's mostly just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. He says something dumb or lays a bunch of people off or something silly like that. So, covering him now is kind of like Groundhog Day, the movie. It's okay. Next day, same dumb shit. So I kind of got over following the Musk/Twitter news. Yeah, well, Tesla stock is tanking along with Twitter stock. So I don't know what he's got to do to get his poop in a group, but he better get his poop in a group or he's going to be down 2 companies. That's the only, well, actually, no, he owns Twitter outright, but he still has a board to report to on Tesla, so. And boards can get notoriously cranky and start booting motherfuckers even if they own the thing and take control themselves. It's happened before. An internal takeover. Oh, well, we'll see. I guarantee that resolution probably won't last unless that stock comes back up. Because really, when it comes to like big business like that, stock price is the be-all, end-all, along with, you know, bottom line profits. If those two are doing well, people are happy. If one or neither of them are not doing well, then they get testy. They get very cranky. Boards get cranky, shareholders get cranky. Everyone gets cranky, and then newsworthy stuff starts happening. I mean, just look what happened at Disney when the board got cranky with Chapek. He got canned on a fucking Sunday. Like Craig from Friday got canned on his damn day off. And how often do you see that happen? Well, number one, most people don't get canned on a Sunday. Number two, CEOs don't generally get canned the way he got canned. There's, you know. That was a wild one. That was a wild one. You should give the Stargate movie a shot tonight, bruh. And Justin, if you haven't watched the Stargate movie, you should check that shiz out too. And then after that, I don't know if it's available on streaming right now because fucking Amazon is fucking around, but the show Stargate SG-1 is magnificent. Now, when you're watching it, remember it's like, from the beginning of the millennium, so the effects aren't that great, and the budget wasn't that great because it was on Sci-Fi for its first 5 seasons. Or no, it was on Showtime for its first 3 or 4 seasons, and then Sci-Fi took it over. But the show itself is dope. The characters are dope. Um, the whole concept is awesome, I think. So, I would go into it, but I have videos made on the subject, so go check out my Stargate videos if you're even the least bit intrigued. And I will be making more as time goes on, of course, because Stargate is in my top 3 sci-fi franchises. As a matter of fact, my top 3 sci-fi franchises all begin with Star. There's Wars, Gate, and Trek. So, I'm just the guy after the stars, I guess. I did consider a career in astronomy at one point. So how was everyone else's weekend? Brooke had an alright week. Week. I know we chatted a bit last night on your stream, Justin, but how was your day today? Did you have a good Saturday? By the way, I'm not asking just to fill time. I'm, genuinely curious. I'd like to know how you guys that are awesome yet slightly psycho enough to follow me. I'd like to know you guys are doing all right, or how you're doing. See if I can offer anything, words or what have you, or even just, positive vibes your direction. Yeah. Yeah, military sci-fi is a pretty good way to way to sum that up. There's lots of other fun races too. It's not just us versus the Goa'uld. There's other fun shit. Plenty of other fun shit, which I will be making videos on. Doing good, just enjoying the weekend. Well, good deal, man. Good deal. I actually have to dash tomorrow night. Gotta make sure the buzz it. Gotta make sure the budget stays intact. You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly ragging on Josh for constantly sniffling. I'm like, get a fucking decongestant, but there I go doing the same shit. So I guess I better knock those thoughts and sayings off. All right. My thumbnail promised nerdy talk, so let's get into some nerdy talk, yo. Now, on the thumbnail, I did mention something about Mandalorian updates. Yeah, he does sniff a fuck ton. He needs one of those, not a nasal spray, but those ones that you just inhale real quick that seem like fucking smelling salts or some shit. Those things are pretty dope, but they're intense, man. You feel it all the way up here. But it's kind of cool. Wow. Evidently, I'm super ADD tonight because, I just went off on fucking nasal passages. This is ridiculous. Okay, back on track. Like I was saying, I did mention the Mandalorian, I feel like DC dominated the headlines this week. I hope DC can see part of me like DC more than Marvel because it's darker, but, yeah, DC definitely dominated the headlines this week. And I do hope they can succeed too, for a few reasons. One, it's just about fucking time we got decent DC content, for the love of Christ. I mean, So, and who growing up? I mean, I would have to assume a majority of people, at least in, in a first world country, especially here, grew up and probably one of the first superheroes, if not the first superhero they heard of, was Superman. So, I mean, when I was young, DC was it. I loved Superman. I loved Batman. I also loved Spider-Man, who's Marvel, but I didn't realize that when I was younger. You know, I was just like, these are superheroes and they're cool. But, yeah, DC was kind of like the foundation, I'm guessing, for a lot of people, at least till the late 80s, early 90s when, early 90s when the X-Men cartoon came out. That's when everyone was like, what's this Marvel shit? At least, I shouldn't say everyone. That was kind of me, though. I was like, what's this Marvel stuff? And then when I got to college, the guy who was a roommate and also now my best friend, he lives in Vegas, Rob, he came to school with 3 or 4 of those long white cartons full of comics, and it was pretty much all Marvel. So, so that was when I really got into Marvel, and it was mostly X-Men related too. X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, Wolverine. Wolverine has been my favorite comic book character since I ran across him. But by the way, DC related, aside from the Trinity, you know, the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the talk of Momoa potentially playing Lobo is super hype for me because I love Lobo. Another buddy of mine, Ray, got me into Lobo. And like I've said multiple times and probably will continue to say, tired of holding that damn notebook. But just look at a picture of Lobo and look at a picture of Momoa. Momoa was born to play that motherfucking character, like straight up. Yeah, I love Batman too. Your friend has an issue with the fact that Batman doesn't choose to just kill Joker. Oh, well, I mean, that's a man sticking to his principles. Not crossing that particular line is probably as important to him as, you know, his lungs. Yeah, Luthor's dope. Luthor's dope. DC's always just been mid for you. I mean, everyone, obviously no one's going to agree on everything, but yeah, I mean, I can see that, especially if you're basing that mostly on, like movie-like content, more visual content than just reading books. I think probably the books have always outperformed live movies and animated stuff in general. At least till the 90s again. The 90s were very transformative for both DC and Marvel, because DC had the Batman animated show, which was monstrous, and then Marvel had, you know, the X-Men. So, Batman statements that lies by just killing Joker, but then he had zombies. Yeah, from a purely pragmatic standpoint, that is true. Yeah, well, that scene, among many others, is why a lot of people hated Zack Snyder's interpretation of DC characters. They didn't like Batman blowing people away with a machine gun, even though I think that was in one of his nightmare scenes about Superman taking over. But yeah, people didn't like that. People didn't like Superman killing Zod. So yeah, there's a bit of issue. Although I loved Snyder's interpretation, though. I honestly didn't have a problem with it. I always thought, like, well, not always, but as an adult, I've always thought Boy Scouty type heroes are, I'm going to use this word despite that we're talking about comic book characters, but unrealistic, you know. So I really appreciated Snyder's take. Okay. Yet another side road gone down. I got to get to this damn notebook. This is what I'm basing my stream on. All right, so again, we're going to try this one more time. Actually, it won't be just one more time. I'm going to try it till we do it. But, ow, damn, I forgot about my shoulder. So I know I mentioned Mandalorian news on my thumbnail, but when I went back over my stuff, it was basically inconsequential. I thought it was a bigger deal earlier. So, but I do have one little smidgy of Star Wars news, one little smidgy, and that is Visions has been given a premiere date. It will be coming out May the 4th. If you are into the Visions, I enjoyed most of the first season of Visions. There's a couple of them that were super dope. A couple of them that were, I won't say whack, but just a little. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of say out there or unusual. Like they crossed my line of unusual just a wee bit, but for the most part, they were pretty cool. And like I said, there's a couple of them that were exceptionally hype. So I am looking forward to Star Wars Visions coming out on May the 4th. I'm ready to check that out. I'm ready to check out What If Season 2 on Marvel too, if they hurry up and get around to that shit, because again, I like that show too. But yeah, so not a lot of Star Wars news this week. There are a couple interviews with Daisy Ridley asking her about, the Lindelof movie and her thoughts on being in the sequels and shit. And that was mostly inconsequential, just her talking about, Rise of Skywalker being her favorite work environment out of the three movies, and that she really doesn't know shit about the Lindelof movie. Whether or not that part's true, we'll see, because obviously nowadays, for leak prevention, actors tend to lie their fucking faces off. So, whether or not she actually knows nothing, that one's up in the air. But, overall, fairly inconsequential interview. So that's pretty much it for Star Wars. Now, Marvel and DC both have a much more juice. At least in my opinion. So there were some fun Kang leaks this week. Some which based off of, and Fantastic Four leaks too. Some are probably more reliable than others. But let's begin with the Fantastic Four rumors. Even though that movie's farther, basically because that movie's farther out, so a lot more stuff can change between now and then. But let's start off with what I consider to be good news, shall we? Turns out that Gosling is not going to be cast as a member of the Fantastic Four team itself. So he will not be Reed, he will not be Ben, and he will not be Johnny, and he will not be Sue. Although he's almost got the hair to be Sue. But, yeah. So that's, for me, good news, because I really didn't see him as anything. But here's the big problem: he still could be Doom. He's not out of the running to be in the movie. He's just not going to be a member of the Team Heroic. And then, of course, there's the plot, the bit of plot leaks that happened. Who was the source? I'd love to give credit where credit's due. Great Phase. Great Phase was the source on this one. So according to the Great Phase, Fantastic Four team is from now. And somehow, with whatever the hell Reed was working on, sorry, I have an itch. With whatever Reed was working on, they're going to somehow end up in the 60s, be there for a year, and then come back. All at the beginning of the movie. I find that interesting. I don't know what the purpose of shooting them back to the 60s for a year could be, personally. So yeah, I have no idea of that. I don't know how accurate that's going to be, because that makes no damn sense at all. But No, I'll wait and see on that one. But on the cool side, we get us Galactus as the big bad for the Fantastic Four movie. That's going to be dope. Or could be dope. As long as they don't make him a big stupid ass cloud again. Like, I didn't know. I knew even less then when I saw that movie than I know now. But even I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't what Galactus is, anthropomorphic. He is humanoidy. He's shaped like a person, like a human. Bipedal, upright, all that good kind of stuff. He's not a big stupid cloud. So, I'm assuming, since Feige's in on this now, that Galactus will look as Galactus should look. Hopefully they do better with him than Fox did with Apocalypse. I mean, big ups to Oscar Isaac, though. But yeah, we gonna get Big G. Big G's coming to the big screen again. But here's the twist. No Silver Surfer. So the question at this point is if there's no Silver Surfer, will Galactus have a herald? And if so, who will the herald be? In comics, he's had plenty. I know this from my little bit of research. I don't have a list. I didn't go that deep. I just know he's had more than one herald besides the Silver Surfer. So I wonder what kind of herald they're going to bring in for him and how nasty they're going to be. Because the Silver Surfer at least tried to find Galactus uninhabited planets to munch on. So one can assume that he was probably the exception to the rule. And the rest of the heralds either did not care about inhabited worlds or, even worse, had fun screwing with the inhabitants of the worlds that Galactus was about to devour. They could have taken pleasure in causing panic and chaos and, all that good sadistic shit. So that will be interesting to see how they handle that noise. Faux show. Yeah. Now, the thought is, I'm not sure if it's an actual rumor or just conjecture, but the Silver Surfer is probably supposed to get his own. He's going to get his own intro. Now, whether that comes in the form of a series, a full-length feature, or one of those, specials, i.e., the Guardians Holiday Special, Werewolf by Night. Honestly, I think that would probably be the best. He doesn't need a series. I don't think a series would be. I don't think a series is called for. That would be dragging. A series would drag out a lot of details that don't need to be dragged out in this case. But I can see a full-length feature. I can definitely see a special presentation. That might be the way to go. Although a full-length feature probably would be dope too. I mean, it couldn't be like a humongously long one, maybe 2 hours at most, but it would be sweet. Super sweet. There's also some Kang leaks this week. Kang Gang. As it turns out, Josh's Kang Gang emoji is going to end up somewhat prophetic, it would seem. Because rumors, or some of the, good God, English, dude. You're race speaking it. Try it. Post-credit scene leaks have occurred. And it has been reported that what do they call it? Yes. The Council of Kangs will appear. Yes, I know there's a Council of Raids, but there's also, it turns out, a Council of Kangs, made up of all kinds of variants of Kangs, including, believe it or not, a Skrull Kang. So we're supposed to get the Council of Kings, or King Gang. Council of Kings in, I believe it's supposed to be the first post-credit scene from Ant-Man Quantumania. Technically, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Oh, yeah. And supposedly, there is going to be 3 leaders of the Council of Kings. Immortus is supposed to be one of them. The Scarlet Centurion is supposed to be one of them. And the third one has not yet been scooped out or revealed or leaked or what have you. So it'll be interesting to see which variant of King that ends up being. But the rumor for that one is it's not just the fact that there's going to be a Council of Kings. It's the fact that there's potential for the King the Conqueror variant in Quantumania to be destroyed. That's part of the rumor. He gets destroyed, and the Council of Kings in the first post-credit scene is fucking pissed off about it. So they might run around and start creating some havoc. And then there's the, well, technically I suppose that would be not the first post-credit scene, but the mid-credit scene. And then the post-credit scene is supposed to introduce the Victor Timely variant of the King from back in the 40s, where he's going to, and that character in the comics appeared back in the, I think it was earlier in the 1900s than that in the comics, and ended up setting himself up as like a massive, like very successful businessman and all that kind of fun stuff, and did the same trick, did the trick of, King Gang. Did the trick of, like the Highlander did, like becoming his own descendant, keeping the business in the family, but really just his. So he's going to be an interesting character, I think. I don't know much about him. I'm probably going to research him. But, just a dude chilling back in the 40s, setting himself up to create future who knows what's as a variant of King. Seems pretty cool. We're going to be getting a lot of Kang stuff, it would appear, coming up. A ton of variants. There's supposed to be a ton of variants in Loki Season 2 as well. Not just old Sylvie and whatnot. So we are about to get bombarded with King variants, and I am happy. Because even though it's probably going to be extraordinarily annoying and hard to keep track of, I still dig like the whole multiversal thing. So I think it's going to be cool. And something that's even more fun, which also I think is dope, is after Avengers King Dynasty, every cinematic feature that comes out between King Dynasty and Secret Wars is supposed to occur in the Battle World universe. That's what they're going with. It's not just... stop it. It's not just Battle World like it was in the comics. Just real quick, like at least in the most recent Battle World or Secret Wars run by Jonathan Hickman, the Battle World itself was created by Doom after he destroyed the Beyonders, and he took chunks of all kinds of bunch of universes that have been destroyed and were just kind of out there in the void, and slammed them all together and created a Battle World, which was then the universe at that point. In and of itself, just the planet. Now, what the MCU is going to do is going to actually make it its own universe, not just the planet. Obviously, Battle World, the planet will exist there, but it would seem that not everything will literally take place on Battle World. Although I don't see why not. It's supposed to be huge. In the comics, it was freaking huge, and there was stuff going on all over the planet, and a lot of it really didn't have anything else to do with what was going on, elsewhere. It was just a bunch of, a bunch of little stories just shot all around the planet. So, I mean, if they choose to, broaden the scope and get some of the people in there off the planet and just have them out encountering other things, that's going to be cool too. Because it'll still all be in the Battle World universe, and it will still all eventually lead back, of course, as Josh would say, to Secret Wars. So, and here's a very iffy rumor that's out there. But it's possible that Secret Wars will be split itself into just 2 parts. So technically we'll be getting 3 Avengers movies if this is true. Kang Dynasty, and then Secret Wars Parts 1 and 2. I mean, if you think about it, Infinity War and Endgame is basically that story split into 2 parts, pre-blip and post-blip. But it was all the same basic story. So, just with 2 separate titles and a break at the significant point. Whether they separately, assuming they split it, whether or not they give separate titles to the Secret Wars events remains to be seen. I mean, I really have no preference either way. It'd be cool. And if they want to make it, you know what? I really can't even speculate on that shit, honestly. But yeah, if they split it into 2, like either way is fine with me. If they just want to make it Secret Wars Part 1 and Secret Wars Part 2, or Avengers Secret Wars, blah blah blah. And then, the second part is Avengers Secret Wars. Yeah, I'm not good at that shit, so. I'm not good at that kind of thing at all. Which is why I'm here on this couch talking into this mic instead of out there, doing cool creative shit. So that's what I got for Marvel rumors and news. Obviously, there's still the DC slate to talk about, but before we get to that, I want to know what y'all think about the Kane Gang leaks and the Fantastic Four leaks and stuff. Do any of you think it's kind of whack if that leak is true, that they start here, go back for 60s for a year, and then come back for whatever reason? That just doesn't make sense to me. As other people have said, it makes more sense that the whole thing, well, not the whole thing, but like it will just start in the 60s and then they'll somehow end up in our time. That makes a lot more sense than being from here, or now, I should say. Being for now, going back and coming back is just kind of silly. It's silly. Yeah. Yeah, King does put a pretty good whooping on Mr. Lang, it looks like. It is a little, but yeah. I mean, really, that, like in just about anything, that comes down to execution. Marvel's, even with the way most of Phase 4 was, I'm still confident in saying Marvel's the only one that has execution pretty well down. I submit into evidence. The prosecution submits into evidence Kenobi and Mobius. And Black Adam. Well, Black Adam was just okay. The Suicide Squad. Yeah, bro, I'm really still hopeful with Marvel too. I mean, the rest of these companies got to figure out how to do what Marvel's doing, but without trying it exactly like Marvel does, because I agree with Josh that Feige is his own monster. There's he's I mean, they're, obviously we're all our own individuals and stuff, but that dude, he's just got more capability along those lines. He's got the right brain and it works the right way to be able to pull this shit off. And if you think about it, being able to put together like this huge of a universe and keep it mostly together is pretty damn phenomenal. Sounds like they realize that they have an issue, unlike DC and Star Wars. Yes, yeah, and that's a leadership problem. Um, I mean, I think DC's going to change. It's just a matter of, can Gunn make it a good change or not? And Star Wars is pretty screwed. Um, unless, supposedly KK is going to leave this summer after Indy comes out, but um, just in terms of leadership, whoever replaces KK, if she actually leaves after Indiana Jones, needs to, in general, they need to do a much better job, but one of the first places they need to start is with the PR department. Because Star Wars PR is ass. At least when it comes to how they deal with fans. They tend to paint with a much broader brush than they should. And they're way too defensive. They are way too ready to swing if they get any kind of criticism at all. I don't know how I feel about the idea of doing new films related to the sequel trilogy. I feel like yeah, they should definitely move on from the sequel trilogy, but of course they're doubling down. And Lindelof's movie is going to be a sequel trilogy sequel. I don't know, I don't know how soon after the sequel trilogy ends. I'm feeling like it's over a decade for sure, maybe around 20 years. I swear I heard or read something that says it's going to be like 15 to 20 years after, but I'm not 100 on that, and who the hell knows if what I read was even accurate. So, I really wish they wouldn't. Regardless of if this is like a super duper, I mean, unless this movie is just like insanely awesome, the stain of the sequel trilogy is going to be next to impossible to remove. Even if this movie totally slaps, it's still going to be difficult to overcome what the sequel trilogy has done to the brand. Whether people want to admit it or not. So, Ahsoka could be a turnaround. It could be a turn. If the leaks are accurate, I'm like super duper hyped. I think the new Beyond sounds dope. I think having more Night Sisters and more magic sounds dope. And however a different way the good people in the new Beyond look at the Force is going to be interesting to see what they think about it. Are they going to think about it in like the strict light and dark terms of the modern Jedi? Or are they going to go back? Will they think of it like the ancient Jedi who believed actually in the Force being in balance within a person, neither two to the light side or two to the dark side? Basically, they were not only were they original Jedi, they were the original Grey Jedi. Because Grey Jedi believe in that exact balance up between light and dark within the Force user. So that'll be cool to see how they do that. Not to mention Thrawn's a dope-ass character. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him in live action. Whether or not it's going to be Lars Mikkelsen remains to be seen. He says no, but how many months were Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield lying to our faces about No Way Home? So who the hell knows? I think it'd be fucking awesome if he does take the role, because I mean, his voice acting for the character was fucking fantastic, and living up to that for anybody, whoever they cast for Thrawn in live action, is going to be difficult. At least I think so. But I am a person who is very much into cool voices. Like, half the reason I've loved Darth Vader since I was a kid is because of his voice. And then when I learned it was James Earl Jones that did his voice, I was an instant James Earl Jones fan. So, yeah. And, yeah, just a badass speaking voice is always awesome for me. I mean, like I said, obviously there's James Earl Jones as Vader. Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor, obviously. Ian McKellen as Gandalf in Lord of the Rings and Magneto in the original Fox trilogy. Of course, Christopher Lee in Lord of the Rings and Attack of the Clones. And the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Who else? There's a lot. There's a lot of people with kick-ass voices that I enjoy. So that's why it would be super hype for me if Mikkelsen retains the role for live action, because his voice is the bomb. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Ahsoka. I'm looking forward to Mando season 3 though. And I think the trailers look pretty good. And I guess we're supposed to be getting a final one during the Super Bowl, I believe is the report. We'll be getting the final trailer for the Mando during the Super Bowl, which is good because that's like just a little over, it's like 2.5 weeks from the premiere. So that would be good timing on some hype Mando stuff. There we go. Stupid mic. But yeah, so no, I'm looking forward to Mando season 3. And I'm definitely looking forward. I got more hype for Ahsoka than I do for Mando. I will say that much. I'm definitely more hyped for Ahsoka than I am for Mando. But again, that's because I love high fantasy. So just the idea of magic, light and dark being involved is cool for me. Is very, very cool. I will very much appreciate it if they do it well. It's got to be done well, though. Otherwise, I will lose my shit. When it comes to high fantasy, I have very strong opinions about my magic use. Ready for Mando, but my hype level isn't high at all for it. I mean, yeah, I can dig that. But I will say, like, at least Mando is one of the few things that Disney's version of Lucasfilm has put out that has been, like, basically good all the way through. Other than, there's that. In my opinion, Rebels was freaking dope. Season 7 of the Clone Wars. I enjoyed Rogue One a lot. It's not super hype, but it was pretty cool. Fear may not be as good as the first 2 seasons. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the concerns. It's not like Disney or Lucasfilm has been on like a high, in a positive up trajectory. It's not like they've been putting out banger after slapper after banger. They've been putting out stuff we want to bang on and slap on. So, yeah, their recent history is not something to instill confidence. But on the other hand, they've at least got a good track record. A good track record with that show. So that gives me a reasonable level of hope. And so my hype level for Mando is probably about an 8. My hype level for Ahsoka is like 10. I am so hyped for that show. Andor was okay, but the episodes just felt so slow compared to like the Mando episodes. It felt, yeah. I mean, and I've said this before, but this is my Andor take. All right. Andor was actually good TV in my opinion. It was a good sci-fi show. But so far as having that Star Wars label on it, that was weak as fuck as a Star Wars project. As a sci-fi project, it was actually pretty fucking good. Like I enjoy some of the characters. Like I love Luthen. I think Luthen's badass. I don't know if he's going to survive the rest of the show, but I think he's freaking dope. He's like my favorite character. I like him and what's her name? Dedra, the blonde chick in the that intelligence thing that they have going on. I think she's a good character too. I like the way they wrote her. I like the way they had her kind of getting pooped on in the office, but then when she really gets rolling, turns out she's just as psychotically evil as the next Imperial, if not more so. So it's fine. They get you rooting for her, and then they're like, but really, now that you kind of like her, turns out she's a psycho hose beast. So have fun with going from having to hate her, even though now you already like her. I thought that was a nice twist for the audience, honestly. So, but yeah, great sci-fi show, weak-ass Star Wars show. That's Andor for me. Now we'll see how they do with season 2 because I doubt they're going to cancel it. They've already, I don't think they're going to go the DC route with Andor, even though they probably should. But it'll be what it'll be. At this point, Lucasfilm is going to Lucasfilm, and we mostly have to hope that the stuff they release this year is going to be as good as we think it is, i.e. Mando, Ahsoka, potentially Skeleton Crew, although that one might get pushed now. Oh, and Visions. We do get Visions in May, on May the 4th, be with you. So that'll be cool too. Although, they pushed Survivor back to like April, didn't they? Yeah. So yet another delay out of a Star Wars project. Yeah, Ahsoka. I think even more than Mando, the future of Lucasfilm is going to hinge on Ahsoka. Honestly, I think that's going to be the make or break. Especially because of all the news that's supposedly out there for it, like all the supposed leaks that are supposed to happen are so fucking hype. Yeah, now the show's gonna have to live up to it. Like we're gonna have to have a show that finally, it happens where Josh overhypes himself for it and then is not disappointed. I mean, that's exactly what Star Wars needs, pretty much. Oddly enough, using a person's appreciation as a criteria, while odd, I feel, at least when it comes to Josh, it's pretty fucking accurate for my assessment of him. I mean, I think he's good enough at his job. I give him money every month, so I am a paying nerd Avenger. Yeah, Star Wars. The potential for a fantastic year is there. It really is. Now it's just a matter of them actually finally, for fuck's sake, living up to the potential. Lucasfilm be stressing me out. I mean, is it too much to ask for, like, just give me quality content? You don't have to part. Okay, I was going to say you don't have to part my hair with every project, but you don't have to metaphorically part my hair with every project. But, they all have to be quality. They don't all have to be mind-blowing, but they all have to be quality. And we haven't been getting much quality from either Lucasfilm or Warner Brothers, so at least the DC part of Warner Brothers anyway. And even, most of Phase 4 with Marvel. It's been a whack couple years for us nerds. Honestly. It has been a whack couple years. Gotta check the playlist, make sure it ain't gonna run out. Oh, cool. It switched lists automatically. Good job, Spotify. Way to go. Alright, so we're not gonna run out of music. That's good. Yeah. Just, that's all we want. Just, quality. Just give us quality. Doesn't have to blow our minds. Doesn't have to, doesn't have to make us change our shorts. But it needs to be good. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I'm going to turn the screen off, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. But YouTube is unappreciative of things. Therefore, I shall not tempt fate. Just out of curiosity, what is everyone's hype level for Quantumania now that we are 13 days away from its release? Super high. Your hype level in my brain. Yeah, my hype level's probably at about it's 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for Brooke. Nice. Just hoping to have a fun time that day in general. So you're going on the 18th. Yeah, I want to go that weekend. I really do. Like, I didn't even see Wakanda Forever in the theaters. But this one I gots to see in the theaters. Gots to. And I'm only saying that, honestly, because it's supposed to be, like, well, obviously it's going to be super consequential to the overall saga that Feige is giving us. Yeah, I hope the trailers aren't overdoing it too, bro. Wakanda Forever was good, just a bit too emotional, but no. Yeah. Well, I had actually, like, real talk, I actually had a day set to go see Wakanda Forever. Unfortunately, that day and the previous couple, my brain was being very, very, very mean to me. It was, Andy's back. It was, well, I have problems with depression, anxiety, and all that kind of fun stuff. Because I basically, what am I, 47 now? So yeah, I basically got about. Well, when things started getting bad, it was 19. So 37. So about the point in time, at one point in time in spring of 19, I had been repressing basically all my emotional trauma since the age of 9. So age of 8 actually. No, age of 9. I'm sorry. So yeah, 33 or so years of repressed trauma. Evidently, the brain can only take so much of that shit. So I'm now in therapy, and I got some scripts to keep me somewhat balanced while I'm going to therapy. But like I said, when it was time to go watch Wakanda Forever, I'd already been having a depression attack for the last couple days prior to that. And I figured a movie where, it was mostly about dealing with the passing of, obviously in the movie, T'Challa. And of course, for all the actors there also dealing with the loss of Chadwick Boseman himself. But so yeah, it was my wife and I decided it probably would not be a good idea for me to go watch, 2 hours plus of that while already in a depressive state. So I never got to watch it in the theater. Hopefully watch it this weekend now that it's on the Plus. But so that's unfortunately the movie I have to time correctly. All right. I mean, I myself am probably going to watch Wakanda Forever at least twice because there's always shit I missed the first time around, and I like finding stuff. So, then again, you never know. But that's my initial plans because I always catch more stuff on a rewatch, and I enjoy catching stuff as long as it's not disease. So how we all doing so far? You guys ready to talk the DC? Ready to talk the James Gunn slate? Because I am. I am ready to go. So first of all, I watched Endgame like 4 times. Theaters. It's 3rd time in theaters again. 4th time with a friend. I actually just watched Endgame the other night. And the end got me a little bit, but not, thank goodness, not in any kind of lasting form. But the end got me some, I will say. Death is always a huge trigger for me, so thus my avoidance of Wakanda Forever that weekend. And like I said, Endgame got me a wee bit the other night, but not horrifically, so it wasn't too bad. But yes, the Gunn, the DC, his plans. Where are you guys at with that? Do I need to go over the slate? Are you guys familiar with the slate? Let me go over the slate. I have the article pulled up and everything. Let's see if it's still going there. Yes! By golly, the shit still works. What do you fucking know? So yes, this is from the Hollywood Reporter. They did a really big article on this mug. New Batman. DC slate unveiled. New Batman, Supergirl movies, Green Lantern TV show, and more from James Gunn and Peter Safran. The DC Studios bosses shared 10 projects, talked the exit of Cavill, and addressed the potential future of Ezra Miller, blah, 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 as they just say, big heroes, less known characters. The stakes are massive for us and for Warner Brothers Discovery, says Safran. Well, no shit. Yeah, if you guys flub this, Warner Brothers going to Universal next year. So, the article begins. A new Batman movie without Robert Pattinson, but featuring Bruce Wayne's murderous son. That'd be Damian Wayne. Superman movie. Game of Thrones style drama set on Wonder Woman's home island of Themyscira, but before she was even born. An animated series is just part what's coming to theaters and TV. Yeah, the busy 3 months taking over, blah, blah, blah. Let's just skip. Oh, actually. This sentence is fun. A writer's room was formed to find an overall story that will launch the unified DC universe. Creators have been approached. In a plan, at least part of one, for what is being billed as Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, was formulated and a slate of projects put into development. Alright. Yeah. One of our strategies is to take our diamond characters, which is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Trinity, and we use them to prop up other characters that people don't know. That is what Gunn says. Safran also says to build those lesser-known properties into the diamond properties of tomorrow. While plans may shift, they said, here's the initial slate of projects for Chapter 1 in the order they're planned to appear. Now, obviously Gunn has some success with taking niche characters and making them popular. See Guardians of the Galaxy. So, I mean, he has reason to be at least somewhat confident that he can do the same thing at DC. But we shall see. So, item number 1. Creature Commandos. A 7-episode animated series written by Gunn that is already in production. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis, this is a modern take on the concept. The voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives are looking to find people who can voice the animated characters and also portray the live-action versions when the anti-heroes show up in movies and series. Now, that is something Gunn mentioned in his video, is he wants to move some characters back and forth between live-action and animation. Which, if he can pull it off, will be pretty cool. Next, we have, heaven help us, The Waller Show. A spin-off of Gunn's own HBO Max hit series Peacemaker. Hit series might be a bit too strong of a description given the numbers. Viola Davis will return as the ruthless and morally ambiguous head of a government task force. It is being written by Crystal Henry, who wrote some of Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, the creator of the Doom Patrol TV series. While I see no point in an Amanda Waller show, I do love me some Viola Davis, and I think she plays the shit out of that character. So, I mean, there's at least that to look forward to. I mean, if they manage to do an interesting story, that'll be sweet. I mean, you know, anyone who's a writer on The Watchmen, and you would think at least has some skill. But overall, I don't see the point of this show, but if they do a good job with it and it's entertaining, you know, more power to them. Booyah. And then we get to the first feature film, and the one you have to start with if you're doing the DC. Superman Legacy. The movie featuring the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing and may direct, although no commitments on that end have been made. Hire someone else to direct it, please. While the two previous titles are meant to be aperitifs in Safran's words, Superman is the true kickoff for the duo's DCU plans. It's not an origin story, Safran said. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks that kindness is old-fashioned. A release date of July 11th, 2025 has been penciled in. Wise of them saying penciled. Oops. And then we have Lanterns. Greg Berlanti's long in the works Green Lanterns TV series has been scrapped, and Gunn and Safran have parted ways with longtime DC series steward. In its place will be a new take on the space cops with power rings. Our vision for this is very much in the vein of True Detective, Safran described. It's terrestrial-based. It will feature prominent Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and is one of the most important shows they have in development. This plays a really big role into leading into the main story we are telling across film and TV. Yeah, supposedly they're supposed to stumble upon this big mystery that's going to end up playing a pretty significant role in the overall story of Chapter 1. So, I mean, that is really cool. Just having a Lantern show in general is going to be really cool because, you know, the last representation we had in live action was Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. I mean, I didn't think it was that horrible at all, but obviously it's not as good as anywhere near as good as it should have been. So, and the idea of using the two most popular Lanterns, or two of the most popular Lanterns, obviously Hal Jordan, the original, and then Jon Stewart, I have heard is extraordinarily popular as well. That's a pretty good idea. Again, it's just going to come down to how much they're willing to spend on it to do kick-ass Lantern effects, because let's face it, whether or not it's terrestrial, and what the hell does terrestrial-based even mean? You're calling them space cops in one sentence and saying the show's terrestrial-based in another. So that is minorly confusing, because being space cops and then, you know, basically grounding them to Earth doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But that's all right. Yeah, I think the Green Lantern show is probably I think that's probably going to be like the thing they need to get right the most outside of Superman. Wonder Woman show could be good, but see, that's the thing. It's not a Wonder Woman show. She's not even going to be in it. It's supposed to take place before she's even born. They're basically, I think it was said, they're basically doing a Game of Thrones style show just set on the island. So, I mean, we're basically looking at a TV series. No, I can't. No, I'm trying to figure out the point of it. I mean, I think it could be cool if it's well written and well acted, but I don't understand what it would have to do with the overall DCU, other than the fact that eventually it will lead to Wonder Woman. So, I mean, if they work it up to like where she's born in like the series finale, that would be kind of cool. I'm not sure how far back they're going. So, yes, the next project. Let's go back to the list. The next project listed is The Authority. Now, I know diddly squat about this group. Josh is full 12 o'clock noon when it comes to this movie. He's hype as fuck. So let's see what Hollywood Reporter says. A movie based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet that first originated in the late 90s under an influential imprint known as Wildstorm, run by artist and now head of DC Publishing, Jim Lee. Well, that's cool. One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story of heroes and villains, said Gunn. Not every film and TV show is going to be about good guy versus bad guy, giant things from the sky come, and good guy wins. There are white hats, black hats, and gray hats. Added Safran. They are kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. They know that you want them on the wall, or at least they believe that. Actually, that's kind of a good reference. By the way, A Few Good Men was a dope-ass movie anyway. I fucking love that movie. Jack Nicholson was so awesome in that movie. Of course, Jack Nicholson is awesome in just about everything he does, so. Yeah, that movie was great. All right. Next up, Paradise Lost, which is, yes, the HBO Max series Game of Thrones style drama set on the all-female island that is Wonder Woman's birthplace, Themyscira, filled with political intrigue and scheming between power players. It takes place before the events of the Wonder Woman films. Well, I suppose one possibility is that it could kind of be the story about how Wonder Woman's family ended up in power, maybe? That could be kind of cool. I mean, if they make it obvious that it's going to be, like, somehow leading to Diana, I mean, obviously, we know eventually everything that happens on there is going to lead to Diana, but if they make it plain that this show itself will lead to Diana, or at least get us damn close, I think that could be cool. It could make it much more relevant. But as of now, I have no idea how relevant it's actually going to be. And then, next up, The Brave and the Bold. This is the introduction of the DCU Batman, said Gunn, of Bruce Wayne, and also introduces our favorite Robin, Damian Wayne, who is a little son of a bitch. Now, if you don't know anything about Damian Wayne, I don't know much, but from watching videos on Comics Explained, I know that Damian Wayne is Batman's biological son by Ra's al Ghul's daughter, I think her name's Talia, who seduced Bruce, got his bat juice, for lack of a better term, and then took off to go back to Daddy and then give birth and raise Damian herself and with her dad to be a little, well, basically just a little killer. They raised him to be an assassin. He ended up being highly skilled because, you know. But yeah, he's basically an assassin. This movie will take inspiration from the now classic Batman run written by Grant Morrison that introduced Batman to a son he never knew existed, a murderous tween raised by assassins, specifically Ra's al Ghul and his daughter. It's a very strange father and son story, and importantly, it will feature a Batman not played by Robert Pattinson. So yes, there will be 2 Batmen. Now, that's okay, because remember, Zaslav said there won't be 4. Never said there couldn't be 2. There's also going to be a Batman sequel inside the Pattinson universe, who will portray the Dark Knight in at least one more Crime Saga movie directed by Matt Reeves. That movie, the executives revealed, will be released on October 3rd, 2025, and is being titled The Batman Part 2. Super creative. 2025 is going to be a very big year for DC, crowed Safran. Superman and Batman within the same year. That's fucking ambitious. That is for sure. The next item on the list, Booster Gold. An HBO Max series based on a unique, lesser-known hero created in 1986. Safran said of the series, it's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. Gunn described it as imposter syndrome as superhero. I think the most generous thing I can say is interesting premise. Yeah, again, I did another project I don't see the fucking point to. Honestly. I mean, I'm hoping once these are actually out that we will find out they're kind of all related, although Gunn did specifically say in his video there will be things directly related in Elseworlds, but I mean, unless this is somehow going to tie, I don't see the point of this show, unless it's Gunn just trying to promote characters he liked when he was young. And it's like, these were badass characters, and I think I can make other people love them too. I mean, again, he did it once. That's no guarantee, but at least he has experience. And then we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Taking his cues from the recent Tom King written miniseries, this movie promises a different take than what most think of when Superman's cousin comes to mind. We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off of Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to. Well, with that upbringing, then yeah, I would say so. I mean, that basically spending your entire formative years of childhood and early teens watching everyone around you die and or be killed in terrible ways while you survive. Yeah, that'll make you pretty much a hardcore person, I would say. I mean, that is a fuck ton of emotional trauma to deal with. Holy crap. So yeah, I mean, that actually that has potential. Um I think probably by the end of the movie she'll be less hardcore because, it's just the way these things tend to go. But I think this one actually could be good. I think this one could be good. I like the fact that they're not completely going away from heroes with issues, I know when it comes to Superman, they're definitely going back to the more Boy Scout route. But, so now we got his cousin, cousin coming in, and she gonna be angry. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. And then we have Swamp Thing, a horror film that promises to close out the first part of the first chapter. Wow, what a detailed summary. Let's see. To come up with an overall direction, Slate Gunn assembled a group of writers consisting of friends and storytellers that he admired. Among them were the Martian scribe Drew Goddard, the Flash writer Christina Hodson, Moon Knight head writer Jeremy Slater, Watchmen writer Crystal Henry, and famed comic book scribe Tom King. King is one of the biggest DC writers of the past 12 years, a key architect of its Batman line, and the writer of the Supergirl miniseries that will be the basis of the movie. Again, don't know much about people, but I've heard that Tom King is one of those feast or famine kind of writers. Like when his shit's good, it's really good, and when it's not, it's very not. So hopefully he's in a good phase right now. Before audiences get to those films and series, however, there is a matter of this year's crop of movies, starting with Shazam, Freeze the Gods coming March 17th, and continuing with The Flash June 16th, Blue Beetle August 18th, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom on Christmas Day. I mean, obviously, they want to try and make money off these movies. They probably need to make money off these movies to help pay for what Gunn wants to do, but overall, they're not going to be part of the new DCU, so, honestly, what the hell's the point of promoting them beyond financial necessity, They need to make some kind of money off these fuckers. I mean, because let's face it, who the hell cares about Shazam? I know I don't. Haven't watched the first one, definitely won't be watching the second one. Flash. It is hard to decide how to feel about the Flash. I mean, all the focus groups say that it's everything coming out says it's supposed to be one of the dopest comic book movies, if not the dopest comic book movie ever. That's a tall order. Yeah, I was just getting to that. It's crazy to me that they're doubling down on Ezra. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I can understand them, I guess, to a point, not canceling this movie, mostly just because it's reviewing so damn well. But given Ezra's past activities, and they're not even that past, it's within the last, couple of years. I mean, yeah, he's getting help now, and good for him, but that's just doing what you're supposed to be doing. Especially when you're, bashing women in the head with chairs and shit. Or, well, women getting bashed in the head by chairs that you threw, whether or not you were aiming, Mr. Miller. But yeah, it's, I just hope they're done with him after this movie. Although there was that report that said some, not all, but some of the executives are open to him sticking around just because of the fact that he's getting his help and being a good boy. But call me cynical, but I think he's only being a good boy right now because he has to. If he wants any chance at any kind of a career after this mess that he created for himself. If Warner Brothers is even remotely smart, they will go ahead and get what they can get out of this movie and then send Ezra somewhere not there. Let someone else take a chance on him if they really want to. You need to be done with him, Warner Brothers. You need to be done with him. So, now that we have gone through the slate, what do y'all think of those shows and movies? The content that we are about to allegedly receive. What do you guys think? Think it's got potential? I think it's got potential. Obviously, it's going to come down to execution. Brooke's a bit excited for Swamp Thing. Actually, never heard Swamp Thing before the announcement. I'd heard of Swamp Thing. Never really got into trying to get any knowledge beyond the fact that Swamp Thing exists, but I've heard of him. He's been around a while. I remember seeing comic book covers of him when I was a kid. Back in the 80s. Alright. When the thing switches like that, it makes me so paranoid that my music just crashed. I'm like, no. I'm tired of my stuff not working. And I think Swamp Thing sounds interesting. I've heard the origin story of Swamp Thing is actually pretty cool. So, yeah, I think the slate's got potential. Like I said, there's a couple 3 things on there that I don't know why they're on there. Obviously, a good Superman movie would be highly enjoyable. A good Batman movie would be highly enjoyable. I too think The Authority sounds pretty dope. I think Swamp Thing's got potential. I don't know much about the character at all. Yeah, like I said, just Googled and found out there was a Swamp Thing show released in 2019. Oh, interesting. It might be worth checking out. Huh. That's cool though. But yeah, there's a couple things on there. I'm like, what the Commando one, Creature Commandos. I don't get. I just hope it's fun. At least if it's fun and entertaining, cool. Yeah, I don't know the point of that. I don't know the point of the Themyscira show. I mean, like I said, unless it's pseudo Rogue One-ish, where it leads directly into the main character or the main set of events. And if you notice, they're introducing the DCU Superman and the DCU Batman, but nowhere on that list was any specific mention of the third member of the Trinity, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince herself. I find that interesting that they are leaving her out of Chapter 1, but talking about her homeland. They're leaving her out of this first part of Chapter 1, but yet doing a show about her homeland. It's an interesting choice. I mean, I'm sure they have some reasoning behind it. Whatever their logic happens to be, I have no fucking clue, but at least at this point, I don't know what the relevance of that show is going to be. And also, and that one where the dudes come like the future loser coming back to our now to be cool. I mean, straight up, that sounds like a fucking Nickelodeon show. Like, it really does. Or, like, you know, XD, that Disney's, or a tween show. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a tween show. Like what Saved by the Bell was back in the day. Or any number of those Disney tween shows. You know, Zack and Cody and all that. I don't even know what the hell they got that. So Raven. Whatever. You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that's what that kind of show should be. And based on that, I have no idea why it's being put in the DCU at all. But who knows? Again, if it's entertaining, cool. If they can find it a way to make it part of the overall story arc, even better. At this point, I just don't see it, though. I just don't see it. Oh well. Obviously, I'm not in charge, but yeah, I'd say overall it's a decent slate. Nothing mind-blowing. Nothing too what the fuck. I'd say overall, just the slate itself, probably give it a B. There's definitely enough potentially good shit to outweigh the potentially whack shit, I feel. So the slate itself, I'll give a B. That video presentation that James Gunn put out, that was horrible. Like, I don't even edit. I'm obviously going to have to start if I want to up my video game, but whoever did the editing on that looked like it could have been my first try at editing. Like, they didn't even keep the same shot. Like, some of it would be, you know, here on gun, some of it would be more like this distance, some would be even a little farther out, if I remember right. Like, it was just goofy. And just not a good presentation. It's definitely not the kind of presentation that'd get me like, oh shit, here comes DC. It was kind of the opposite, which is a bummer, because a much better presentation could have generated much more hype. I mean, PR is no joke. It's nothing to be ignored. Matter of fact, PR is a significant chunk of the success of any kind of property, honestly. If you got whack PR, no one's going to want to, no one's going to want to involve themselves with your stuff. Or, a lot fewer people are going to want to involve themselves with your stuff if you are not dealing with them in the correct way. If you're not giving them good stuff to watch. If you're not treating them right. So yeah, that video itself was a bummer, and the slate, decent, I would say. Again, not actually leaving. Just keeping YouTube off my ass. I will say, though, at least so far as my planned combo, that's pretty much about it. Is anybody doing anything fun tomorrow? Anything fun going on tomorrow? Get together with family or friends? Long ass gaming session? Hey, just a regular Sunday is always good. You don't think you are? Yeah, I mean, hey, a nice regular Sunday is always good. A little bit recharge. A little recharge before the beginning of the work week back on Monday is always good. Taking this Tuesday and Wednesday off to go to a friend's birthday party. Dope. Is it out of town, or you just starting the drinking early on Tuesday and you're going to need Wednesday to completely recover? Watch Stargate. Justin, you should check out Stargate too. I think you'd like it. Birthday party's taking place a bit far. Okay. So it's more of a commute thing than you're going to be like retarded hammered thing. Yeah, Stargate. All one word. I've done videos on them. Did you skip them? Or on it? Hey, you know what? I wouldn't watch videos of something I don't know shit about either, unless it like somehow caught my interest prior to running across the video. But I personally recommend it. The premise of it is very entwined with various ancient Earth mythology. So if you're into any of that shit, I think you'd find it cool. Oh, you're gonna watch it right after the stream? Dope. That could work out for you, because, like I said, I've run to the end of my plan stuff. So right now we're just chilling and bullshitting. Which, of course, is, what Saturdays are for. I don't know what I know I'm gonna watch something after the stream. I was thinking about continuing my rewatch of Mando, but I'm in the mood for a full cinematic feature. But I don't know what I want to watch. I don't know if I want to watch something new, if I want to go back to an old favorite. Well, even not necessarily an old favorite. Just go back to some kind of favorite. Oh, I know. Yeah, I've actually watched all 4 Ip Man movies. They're fucking phenomenal. Yeah, that's true. Well, I dug the first 2. The third one I didn't think was that good, but yeah, the Ip Man movies are dope. You know Ip Man was Bruce Lee's teacher, right? I assume. Yeah, I've heard that about Cobra Kai. A lot of people dig the Cobra Kai. I haven't watched it yet. Of course, to be honest, I haven't watched Stranger Things yet either, and obviously that one has got an extreme reputation. Yeah. Now, you know the guy that played Ip Man is the same guy that was the blind guy in Rogue One, right? Did you recognize that? Yeah, that would have been dope. But yeah, that's the same actor. Man knows his martial arts. And his movements are still super fast, even though he's, well, actually, I don't know how old he is, but I would surmise he's probably somewhere around my age. I don't think he's a spring chicken. I mean, I don't think he's like old either. If I thought that, and I thought instant, that'd make me old. Because I think he's somewhere around my age. Hey, Bentley, how you doing? Doing all right? Did you have a good week? We've actually reached the. It was an all right week. Yeah, we're actually just in kind of chilling and bullshit portion of the show right now. Dare I even call it a show? Silly me. The stream. But just kind of, yeah, like I said, we're just kind of BSing right now. I'm glad you had a good week so far. Just real quick, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Like, what'd you think about the DC slate? 1 to 10. How do you feel about the DC slate? Oh, shit. Forgot I was on that screen still. Oh, there I am again. I know. Your eyes. Your eyes. 7. No, it's the. Did you not catch the list of DC projects that James Gunn released earlier this week? That's the slate. Yeah, there's going to be an animated show called Creature Commanders. There's going to be an Amanda Waller show, Green Lantern show, Superman movie, some show about a loser from the future that tries to be cool in our time, Batman movie, a show about the island Wonder Woman grew up on, but it's going to happen before her existence. Trying to go off the top of my head now. A Swamp Thing. I think that was going to be a show, or was that going to be a movie? Anyway, something involving Swamp Thing. The Authority. This is going to be a movie about a group of characters called The Authority. I think I'm still missing something. I know it was a 10-item list. Creature Commanders. Waller. Lantern. Superman. Themyscira. Loser from the Future show. Batman movie. Supergirl movie. I forgot there's going to be a Supergirl movie. And Swamp Thing, and I'm forgetting one. Oh well. But yeah, we know Bentley from your streams, Justin. Thanks for joining mine too, Bentley. I appreciates it. And obviously, Brooke and Justin, I appreciate you too as well. far as Marvel goes, it turns out we're going to be getting a bunch of Kangs, probably. There's supposed to be some dopeness in the mid and post-credit scenes of Quantumania. Yep, evidently the King Gang emoji over on Josh's channel is going to be super relevant pretty soon. I know, right? It's only 13 days, bro. 2 weeks from yesterday. We're close. And then 2 weeks after that, Mando. Ooh, I wonder if that book that's supposed to bridge the gap between Fallen Order and Survivor is going to come out on time, or if that's going to be pushed back a little bit too, because the game was. Oh yeah, it's called Battle Scars, if I recall correctly. That hasn't actually been talked about much at all. You think you can guess a line from Avengers Age of Ultron and the person who says it? Maybe. I just watched it a couple weeks ago, so it's slightly fresh in my mind, but of course I do a lot of blinkers, so who knows? Let's try it. What the fuck? Go for it. Let's do it. Lay it on me. Hit me with it. By the way, what do y'all think of the music? I'm using the same guy that Josh uses. Not the same exact music. Peace in our time. That would be one Tony Stark. After he convinced Ruffalo, or I should say, Banner. Can't really hear the music. All right. Here, that'll bump it some. Yep, spoken to Banner after he convinces him to help him finish Ultron. And of course, Ultron used it against him later. Do you remember who voiced Ultron? Don't Google. Anybody. I can tell you, you would know if you heard me gush about Ultron the last time I gushed about Ultron. Anybody else? Would anyone else like to propose a name? Yeah, Ultron was insane in What If, and I dug that. All right, well, I will tell you, Brooke is correct. It was James Spader that voiced Ultron. Villain in Deadpool. Is James Spader the villain in Deadpool? I don't think James Spader was in Deadpool. He is, however, in Stargate. But he was way young then, doesn't sound like he does now. But yeah, James Spader was the voice of Ultron. Paul Bettany, who played Vision, was the voice of Jarvis. until, they made him Vision. He was legit terrifying the way he combined with the Vision's body and just berserk. Just thinking about what he wants. Yeah. Yeah, he was in the Solo film. He was Emilia Clarke's boss. So that's what he looks like without the Vision makeup. Paul Bettany. Couple of wild and crazy guys. Okay, I'm done with that shit now. Sorry. Yeah, but yep, James Spader. What would you know him from nowadays? The show The Blacklist on NBC. He's the main star of that. He was on a show with Shatner, Boston Legal, back in the early 2000s, I think. But yeah, he's a dope actor, in my opinion. I'm a big Spader fan. Speaking of Avengers type stuff, we all know Wanda ain't dead, right? When do you think they're going to bring her back? You think they're going to bring her back in the theaters? Yes, I mean Mommy Wanda. Are they going to bring her back in the theaters? No, I don't mean Mommy Wanda. I mean the one that supposedly dropped the mountain on herself. 616 Wanda. Right. Yeah, you're right, Justin. I'm not a monster. I'm a mother. Doctor Strange 3? Possibly. Possibly. I think it could happen on Disney Plus. Maybe. Maybe I'm confusing myself on something. Actually, it could be Disney Plus. Do I know who CBR is? Yeah, it could be in the Agatha show. That's a definite possibility. Do I know who CBR is? I've heard of CBR. I see articles by CBR all the time on Google. They're definitely very much into nerdy stuff, theater, movies, and shit like that. Excuse me. But yeah, I check out their articles occasionally. They're pretty decent. I'm trying to remember the damn Marvel slate. Because I know they pushed Agatha way back. So what movies we got coming out Marvel-y this year? I know there's... Obviously, there's Multiverse of Madness. Isn't there another one? There's a... Yeah. The Marvels. I don't think she'll be back in that one. Although I think the Marvels might be better than we originally thought. I feel like Doctor Strange 2 is more like a horror movie. It definitely had that feel. Of course, I personally am a Sam Raimi simp. I fucking love Sam Raimi. I've been a fan of his horror stuff since Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. Also, I thought he did a great job with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, except for the dance. After he gets the black suit, he does that stupid ass fucking Bee Gees dance down the street, whatever. Ugh, I hated that so much. But I mean, it had horror elements, but I definitely wouldn't call it a straight up horror movie. And honestly, I think the reason that movie was so divisive is because Sam Raimi is one of those guys, especially when he gets in that mode, that you either love his shit or you hate his shit. And I can easily see how a lot of people got turned off by all the Raiminess that was allowed in that movie, because there was some definite Raiminess going on in there. I mean, I was loving it. I was like, yeah. But I can understand that some of Sam's directorial sensibilities are not for everybody. That is for sure. Damn. Yet another 2-hour stream. That's pretty damn close to my average. I've got a couple under and I got a couple all over, but I seem to like rocking for 2 hours, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that, because we're just chilling in the basement. Top 3 Spider-Man movies, favorite to least favorite, like out of all of them. Okay. That's tough. Probably No Way Home #1, just because it was just so insanely huge and good and like really well acted. And then probably the first 2 Maguire ones. And maybe even 2 before 1, just because Doc Ock. I really liked Doc Ock, and I didn't. I mean, Defoe himself was awesome as the Green Goblin. The suit was kind of weak. I don't know. Those two are pretty even, I would say. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's 1 and 2. Those two are basically interchangeable. Loved Maguire Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that was a damn fine movie. A damn fine movie. Oh, what was that guy's name? I don't know. The dude who played Doc Ock in that and No Way Home was great. And, of course, Willem Dafoe is just fucking fabulous. He's another really phenomenal actor. A lot of people dislike Spider-Man 3, probably. Yeah. Yeah, that was... Venom was not developed. Sandman wasn't really developed. Oh, shit, bro. I forgot about animation. Good call. Into the Spider-Verse is dope. I can't... When does Across the Spider-Verse come out? You know what? Let me look at that shit. When the hell does Across the Spider-Verse fucking come out? Now that y'all mention it. Nope, I need that one. Clear that. way to type, buddy. Might not have. Oh, fingers were in the wrong spots. And yes. Let's see what we get here. Come on. Yes, I know it comes out this week. Oh, hey, Oscar Isaac is in this one too. That's dope. June 2nd. Right there. June 2nd, we get Across the Spider-Verse. That's going to be dope. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. We're watching the Spider-Verse with a friend group during the last days of finals week during one of the autumn quarters in college. Yeah. Love the animation soundtrack. Good lasting impression. Yeah, that sounds like pretty fun. Fox Quicksilver versus Marvel Quicksilver. I have my pick, but I'll wait for Justin to answer. Fox Quicksilver versus MCU Quicksilver. I lied. I'm not going to wait for Justin. He's taking too long to think. For me, it's the Fox Quicksilver. One, they didn't kill him. And I don't know. I just kind of liked him better. I think Fox actually spent more time getting a little more into his capabilities than Marvel did. So that's why I prefer the Fox one. Also, I like the actor because he's pretty damn good in American Horror Story. Which, if you like suspense and horror, I highly recommend you watch the American Horror Story series. Favorite Marvel line? Holy shit. That requires a lot of thought, bruh. Let's see. Yeah, one line from all that content. That's a toughie. I don't know that I can honestly pick one. It's Justin Waffles. the Marvel one is dope. I just like the Fox one just a smidgy better. Although that was fucking rude of Marvel to like Ralph Boner us with him in WandaVision. That was some bullshit. Twas a pile of shite. Matter of fact, I need to rewatch at least the last couple episodes of WandaVision. Because at some point we're supposed to get the brothers back. So I think in Agatha is when that's going to happen, or at least Wiccan anyway. I think that's supposed to happen in Agatha, if I recall correctly. Episode 10, season 89. What the hell has 89 seasons? I'm a wee bit confused, Mr. Spillman. Alright, you got me on that one. I walked right into that one. However, I do believe it's time to walk out of this stream. We've been at it for a minute. I've had fun, though. I always have fun chatting with you guys. Oh, see, now you're just screwing with me. Stop gaslighting me, Bentley. But seriously, though, we've been doing this shiz for a hot minute now. At least in the Eastern time zone, it is creeping up on Sunday. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip out. I hope you all had a good time. I did. Yeah, 2 hours and 12 minutes. I streamed for a while. I'm not a bitch streamer. That's overstating things. It really depends on what you're doing. Some streams are much more energetic than mine, like gaming streams. Like what Justin does, that's a lot more taxing than what I do. So yeah, there's definitely reasons why people would go much shorter than I do. Interesting. It would appear Spotify changed my music for me. How nice of them. But yeah, so again, I hope everyone had a good time. I did. This is streaming every weekend. Streaming every Saturday is always one of the highest of the high points of my week. Being with my wife is the highest of the high, of course, but this one's right up there. Doing this shit is right up there. I have a lot of fun with you guys. So yeah, I mean, I'm always, well, once the adrenaline wears off, I do get pretty tired, but I'm always fairly hyped coming off a stream, honestly, just because I love doing this shit. I mean, yeah, I run a more laid back vibe, but I love this shit. So as always, I am grateful, so grateful for you guys for showing up tonight and for checking out my vids and all that good shit. I appreciate it a lot. I'm constantly trying to improve the quality of my goods, so I can promise you will continue to see improvement. I can't promise the rate, but you'll see it. I cannot promise the speed, But it won't be so slow that you don't notice. You'll notice. Yeah. Yeah, when he, especially his watch parties, he's on his watch parties for a while. Well, thanks, Brooke. I appreciate that. So, but yeah, like I said, I love this shit. I love hanging with you guys. But I do have, I do have stuff I want to do besides this too. But as many people say nowadays, much love to all of you. Thank you for being part of my channel and my streams. And yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. My gratitude will be never ending. And like I always say, there's always good times to be had when you're chilling in the basement. And be on the lookout for my next video. Make sure you turn that notification bell on to full glow so you know when I do my stuff. Have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. We'll see you.